Good morning, sports bettors. Matt Modi here with OddsJam. It's NFL Sunday. We got a bunch of NFL games today. Not the best slate in the world of games. Doesn't matter how good they are. We still have a bunch of bets to lock in. So for this video, I'm going to give you the best NFL player props, specifically for the early 1 p.m. Eastern slate. So going to go ahead and get right into it. Don't want to dilly-dally. Games are starting soon. The first play that I'm going to go ahead and lock in here is this Jack Stoll under 1.5 player receptions, minus 120 odds at PointsBet. So this play, it's positive expected value. The no vig odds that OddsJam calculates prices this to be at about minus 132, minus 132.5, basically minus 132, giving us an expected profit, a profit margin, an EV percent, expected value percent of 4.46. So my recommended bet size is telling me to bet about 130 on this one. I'd probably round this down to $100. That's normally the most that I bet specifically on a player prop is $100. I love betting on player props, but they have a little bit of a higher variance associated with them because you're betting on an individual, not on a team, obviously. So higher variance. Still love betting them. I just lower my unit size a little bit. So Jack Stoll is a backup tight end for the Eagles. Had been playing okay in Dallas Goedert's absence. Goedert's back today, so you figure Jack Stoll's his role is going to be minimized back to where he was at the beginning of the year, where he didn't do anything. And it's positive expected value. So PointsBet prices it at minus 120. So we see a couple books like Caesars is only 9 cents higher. Betfred is 15 cents higher. And then we're starting to get into a little bit of a bigger variance. And when you're positive expected value betting, you want to make sure that you're betting on outliers compared to the rest of the sports books. In this case, the minus 120 at PointsBet. You also want to compare it to 3 sports books, specifically with player props. Number 1 is DraftKings. DraftKings, I don't know if they use like DFS player data or whatever. All I know is that they do a really good job specifically with player props. So DraftKings has it at minus 140. 20 cents higher, pretty big outlier. And then we start to get to the real big outliers and the more important books. BetOnline prices this at minus 164. BetOnline is another very sharp sports book, prices it at minus 164. And then Pinnacle, the sharpest sports book in the world, prices it all the way at minus 196. Now, this minus 196 is also an outlier. My guess is Pinnacle and PointsBet are both outliers. The most likely scenario and where it probably should be priced is, my guess, is closer to the BetOnline line at minus 164. So this is still a good play. I'm not saying to avoid it, but that's why I'm unit sizing a little bit lower, because I think this minus 196 is also a bit of an outlier. The reality is somewhere in the middle, and that middle is still a profitable play. So we're still going to go ahead and lock it in. My first play, Jack Stoll under 1.5 player receptions. Moving on. Next up, and I love this play, Jared Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns. This play is at plus 130 on BetRivers/Barstool, Unibet, and TwinSpires. No vig odds that OddsJam calculates. The OddsJam perfect line prices this at plus 120. The EV percent, the expected value percent, expected profit, however you want to view this percent, it really is, it calculates the percent of expected value, which can also be viewed as your profit margin. So, or your expected profit margin, I should say. So for like this one, I recommended putting $100 on it. You could expect to make $4. You can basically add $4.45 to your profit for today. This next one is 4.34%. I recommend unit sizing this one a little bit lower. The plus 130 odds signifies that the most likely scenario is that this bet doesn't hit, or the plus 120 no vig odds is actually what you want to look at. It doesn't mean you should just not bet any single play that's plus money. There's still good value. So it's all about the odds that you are betting versus the rest of the market, right? Like this minus 120 was generally an outlier. So we hit it. This plus 130 is also an outlier. So we should also hit it. I just unit sized down a little bit. So I'm going to put $75 on this one as opposed to 100. Still a really good play. Pinnacle plus 101. BetOnline plus 104. DraftKings plus 110. All of the sharp books that we look at for player props, 20 to 29, sound like Kirk Cousins there, 20 to 29 cents below the plus 130 we got at BetRivers. And then PointsBet is the only one that's closer at plus 120. Caesars plus 100, Betfred plus 105. All in all, this is a really good price on this Jared Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So we're going to hit it. This is my second play. The third one that we are going to lock in here is this Justin Fields under. Actually, no, the odds changed on that one, so we're not going to hit that one. But I did like this Quez Watkins one as well. This is the third one for today. Quez Watkins over, 2.5 player receptions, plus 110 at Betfred. We're getting plus 110 at Betfred. Pinnacle prices it at minus 101, BetOnline at plus 100. Then every other book has it for exactly even money. So it looks like DraftKings, for whatever reason, doesn't have pricing for this one. But PointsBet, Caesars, and FanDuel all have it for 50-50. BetOnline and Pinnacle have it for a little bit less than 50-50 at plus 100 and minus 101. All in all, still a good play, giving you the OddsJam perfect line, pricing this at plus 106. We are getting it at plus 110, so that gap is still important. It's still relevant, still a really good play. So I recommend putting, for me, $50 on this one, which is half a unit. So $100 is 1 unit, $75 is 0.75 units, and $50 is half a unit. That's how much I recommend putting on this Quez Watkins one. And then the last play, the fourth one for this video that I was going to lock in here, is Garrett Wilson over 51.5 receiving yards. I know the risk of this one is that Garrett Wilson, his quarterback is now Zach Wilson, who is awful, who's terrible, he can't do anything. If this was Mike White or Joe Flacco, this Garrett Wilson line would be a lot higher. It's low because Zach Wilson stinks, but the Lions' defense is so bad that maybe, possibly, Zach Wilson can have one throw that gets Garrett Wilson 52 yards, maybe. But regardless, it doesn't matter. The handicapping, that doesn't matter. The math is the most important thing. And the no vig odds price this at about minus 116.5, minus 117. We are getting minus 113 at Bet Rivers, so there's the gap there. Pinnacle prices this at minus 129, DraftKings at minus 140. And then what you can do for plays like a yardage prop that's a little bit higher, what you can do is if you open this event page in a new tab, and I can close out of some tabs here. So it pulls up where every sportsbook prices his receiving yardage over under, right? Like we know based on just this screen, which you're looking at right now, that there's difference in odds of where sportsbooks price, specifically the over and the under 51.5. There's also going to be a difference in where sportsbooks price his yardage total in general, meaning not every single sportsbook is going to have the over under at 51.5. If you open this event page in a new tab, we can see that majority of sportsbooks, so some price it looks like at 49.5. Looks like that would be Prize Picks, so a DFS site. The 51.5 is what we got it at, and then it looks like Betfred prices it at 52.5. Looks like FanDuel and Underdog, another DFS company, price it at 54.5. And then it looks like Monkey Knife Fight prices it all the way at 60, which is a clear outlier. And then PointsBet at 55.5. And it looks like BetOnline, yeah, they don't have any pricing for this. So basically what I'm trying to determine here is we're taking an over 51.5 receiving yards. Where does every other book that doesn't price this at 51.5 have this number? Majority of them have it over, which is a good sign for us because we're taking the over, right? Majority of books say we think his over under should, like, he's probably going to have more than 51.5 receiving yards according to the other sports books. So they're going to price his over under receiving yards higher, between 52.5, 54.5, 55.5, and then all the way at 60.5. So the fact that we are getting him to go over 51.5, that's a good sign. So this is going to be my fourth and final player prop bet to lock in for the early slate. Stay tuned on the OddsJam YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe for all of the picks moving forward for today. And that's going to be it. So if you guys are tailing these, comment and let me know. And that's it. So enjoy the slate tonight. Happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.